What's going on, everybody? You're listening to alaunesports podcast. This is Richie, and we have Mike. This is episode 50. Welcome back. What's going
Oh
on, Mike?
shit. What's
Yeah,
going on, Rich?
I just noticed
Episode
that,
50?
to be honest.
Oh man. I guess it makes sense. I got my little
We gotta
brewski.
be, yep,
Yeah,
I
it's
should have
gonna,
had to.
it's gonna be a chill, laid back podcast.
Yes, sir. What's going on? How was your week so far? Actually, it's just Monday. Why I'm saying so far.
Yeah. And weekend was good. Got a big dub yesterday. Got a big dub on Thursday as a Manchester United fan. Nothing first trophy in 6 years, man. Nothing couldn't ask for anything better, man. So my weekend was good, man.
That's great.
Yeah.
6 years. I thought it was seven, but that's not too bad.
Probably.
2017. Yeah, you're right. 6 years.
Since Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, you know what? I was asking you. That's what I was asking. I'm like, did Maguire win a cup already? I feel like
No,
I feel
he
like
didn't.
so. Bruno Fernandes won something.
No, there
So it was
wasn't.
What did he win? The FA Cup.
Europa League? No, FA Cup. Yeah, FA Cup.
Wait, you did win to the European League finals, right?
Yeah, we
With
went to the
Mourinho
finals.
against who?
We went to the finals with Mourinho and with Ole as well.
And you won. You won the. No, you lost both.
Yep, lost both. I think one versus Ole was who was it? Was it Villarreal? And Jose Mourinho, I forget who it was, but I think it was another Spanish team.
Can't remember.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, hey, you guys won something, but it was probably the FA Cup that I was thinking about. FA Cup. All right, today we have two topics. We will be discussing the finals of the Carabao Cup. Manchester United, Newcastle. 2-0 for Manchester United. And like Mike said earlier, first trophy since 6 years, since 2017. And we will be closing with the last topic of the Clippers. And we will most likely talk about Westbrook as well. And yeah, so we can start with the first topic. I'm gonna let you start with that one because I know you're a Man U fan and I know you were happy. I don't know if you want to start with some words for your
no
team.
man. Uh, it was pretty weird yesterday, man. I was probably the most laid back I've ever been watching a. I think I went into it with like, positive vibes, man. Positive
We
vibes.
got
Let me
this.
not let me not criticize. It's one of those games where I mean, I even said it in group chat. I was like, "Yo, should I be watching the game because Manchester United has been doing a little bit better." When I sleep through the game sometimes, or when I'm at work and I can't even turn on the
Yeah.
TV to watch them play, and then they ended up winning. But yeah, man, I was just chill, super laid back, just watching the game. Even though the game didn't start well, I don't think Manchester United played a particularly good game at all whatsoever. But we ended up with the clean sheet, winning 2-0. Uh, Marcus Rashford got credited with the goal as well, so another goal for him. Yeah, man, Ten Hag is doing something incredible, building a culture. I don't even think he has the all the players and the pieces that he wants to fit his system yet. And he's still doing an incredible job. Came to the club, set standards immediately, got Cristiano Ronaldo out of there, not taking any type of shit from anybody. From who he doesn't care what the price tag is. Sancho, like he's just doing all the right things, man. He wants players to succeed. He gives everybody time. Like he wants Martial to succeed, even though Martial is like clearly, he's just a guy that unfortunately for him, he's going to be sidelined every single season. Uh, he wants Sancho to succeed, so he lets Sancho go on this, leave for 2 months to get his mental right, his mentality and his spirits right, so that he could come back to the club and perform at a decent level. He's giving Garnacho a shot, even though Garnacho came on already last year for us when he was still 17, like under I think Ralph Ragnick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But yeah, man, he's just doing all the right things, man. He likes watching academy players. He says the right things. He says that everything, the academy is the foundation for a great club. You need a squad to build a successful winning culture. And everybody seems, well, I can't say everybody. Most players seem to be buying in, because I know for sure there are players at the club who do not like what he's doing. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo was the first victim. I know Wan-Bissaka probably didn't like being iced out for so long with Dallo playing so well, but Bissaka came back and showing that he's a very competent right back. He just doesn't have the potential to go forward. But yeah, man, it's just a Ten Hag show, man. Ten Hag is just, he looks like a proper boss, man. And compared to like the other guys like Jose Mourinho or Louis van Gaal, for example, I'm not counting David Moyes because I don't think David Moyes is really a top coach.
Ooh.
And Ole, we just know he was just the vibes. Like Ole was just like, Ole is the version of Steve Nash at Manchester United that Steve Nash was in Brooklyn. He was just a conductor of vibes. That's all he was doing. He was just here to spread positive vibes.
Show was probably built with Carrick in the background, like in terms of tactics and stuff like that.
So I don't really think any like Ole has any type of tactical acumen whatsoever when it comes to coaching. But the difference between Ten Hag and the other guys like Louis van Gaal or Jose Mourinho is that he loves to play up tempo, progressive, beautiful style of football, and that's what we're kind of seeing from Manchester United, with players just buying in and being versatile. We've seen Bruno Fernandes play all over the pitch. We've seen what he's doing with Wout Weghorst. We see what Marcus Rashford has done for the team. We've seen what Luke Shaw has done for the team. So, dude is just a top coach, and this is the guy that should be leading Manchester United forward, man. And I'm just so happy that he's there, man.
All right, so final was yesterday. It was on Sunday at 11:30 Eastern time, 2-0, Casemiro and Rashford. Mm-hmm. And so a little statistics, sorry. Newcastle have not won any major trophy since 1955. For United, it was 6 years, but with the Carabao Cup, it's all over. Now, in terms, let's get to the straight to the topic for for the final. We're gonna start with the way the team were composed. United was, I believe, they started with a 4-2-3-1.
Pretty much, yep.
Newcastle, they were 4-3-3. Mm-hmm. So you said something at the beginning before we got into the topic. You said that you didn't feel Manchester United played particularly like a well big game, but it kind of describe to me kind of like the first 15 minutes, what you saw in Newcastle and what you thought, why you thought in United was a little bit flat in the first 15 minutes, if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, so I mean, Manchester United had a couple of good moments going forward. There was probably the best moment where there was this build-up play between Wout and Marcus Rashford, where Marcus Rashford played the ball in probably a little bit too quickly to try to reach Bruno Fernandes or Anthony on the right-hand side, when he could probably play the ball in a few yards to try to get into the box himself. He was probably a little bit unselfish there. But overall, I think Newcastle came in with some good intensity, like during the first. Hold on, I had some notes. During the first few minutes, Diogo Dallo got a yellow very early in the 9th minute for a stupid foul on. Well, it wasn't a stupid foul, but it was just like, we lose possession. Saint-Maxime, who's a very explosive forward, going into the break, and poorly timed tackle by Diogo Dallo, and gets a yellow card in the 9th minute. And the other thing is too, like, since Ten Hag has been in the club, I don't think he's always gotten his tactics right, for me personally. But what makes him such a great coach is the fact that he realizes that he gets them wrong in game and makes those tactical adjustments. For me personally, I don't think, like, when I saw Diogo Dalot on the team sheet to start the game versus Saint Maxime, I was shocked. I was like, why? He doesn't have great pace. He's not a really good defender, particularly. He's great going forward. So I understand like if you're trying to. So I thought the tactical thinking there was probably to overlap with Anthony to try to
Yeah.
take advantage of Dan Burn on the left hand side because Dan Burn has no pace whatsoever.
Yeah.
And we saw Anthony bullied him throughout the entire game. Even though Anthony played a terrible game. So I could only imagine. Well, not terrible. He didn't play.
You said Anthony had a terrible game?
Yeah, he didn't.
Come
not
on,
terrible.
he worked so hard. Come on.
He didn't play terrible. I'm being harsh.
Come on now.
He didn't play terrible. He was subpar. He wasn't great. He was subpar, and still he was able to take advantage of Dan Burn. He worked extremely hard on defense, which he's always been doing for the team, which is one of the reasons why I think he's chosen ahead of Sancho and the Garnachos on the right hand side because they don't particularly defend well. Even though they probably progressed the ball a little bit more than him going forward. But Dalot didn't really do that at all for us in the first half, and Wout Weghorst was just static in attack for us as well.
Yeah, two great shot on target at the beginning.
He did. We had
one of them. I think he should have done a better job.
Yeah, but again, he was out into space, but that's one of the problems with Wout, because I could only imagine if Marcus Rashford was in that position when he got that ball, like he would have been acres out ahead and would have had a one-on-one opportunity with Karius. And we know Karius was nervous going into the game, his first competitive game played in 2 years, and he showed some nervousness in the first half, but he eventually ended up playing a great game.
Yeah, he had a decent game.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I just think tactically speaking, I didn't expect Dalot to start. I thought that was the wrong approach in the first to start him, even though I understand what the game plan was probably. And Wout, I've seen enough of him now. Like I know a lot of people like he works hard as well. He's malleable. He will do the dirty work for the likes of Marcus Rashford, but
I think they were expecting him also to, if possible, to receive some passes in between the lines. So if he gets them, hopefully he can look for Rashford or likely Rashford ahead.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea. The idea is for Weghorst. Idea is for Weghorst to hold up play and to be able to link up with the wingers, to be able to link up with Bruno if he drifts out to the right, to link up with Marcus Rashford while he's absorbing some pressure and why these guys make their runs in behind. But the idea, it only worked once in that game, for example. And other games, I could count on my hand how many times that's worked. I just personally, at this point now, I've seen enough of Wout. But the reality is that as much as I want guys like Sancho or Garnacho to start, we're gonna get absolutely crucified on defense if these guys start to play major.
So you have to balance a little bit.
Yes, it's just unfortunate that we have to do this. And even then, like during the first 15, 20 minutes, like Wout was so static that Marcus Rashford ended up going into the middle as well for a few minutes to see what he could make happen. And Wout went to the left-hand side. And that's just some of the things that, like, you know, it doesn't always work for Manchester United right now, but the guys are understanding on the pitch. They're interchangeable and they're malleable to change their shape a little bit and tactical approach. So I'm appreciative of that. And we're still winning games. So, you know, I can't complain too much at the end of the day. Like, we just won a first trophy. So something's working, something is clicking, and I can't be too mad about it.
Okay. So possession, 38% for Manchester United, 62% for Newcastle. Shot on target percentage, 71% for Man United and 23% for Newcastle. So that's where we're kind of talking about pre-production. Um, we were talking about how Newcastle had the ball, but they were not dangerous. You said.
Mm-hmm.
Sim Maximin, he had an expected assist zero, one chance created, and one shot on target. But all throughout the game, you feel like Sim Maximin's name was like just Sim Maximin. Sim Maximin, he could take guys, but it seems that he never can have. He never makes a great decision in final turn, which kind of explains zero expected assist. I see you have something to say.
No. For me, I
No, I was
think.
gonna actually ask you what your reaction about everything about that part for Newcastle.
I
Twenty
mean, I
three
was.
percent shot on
Uh,
target.
yeah, man, I was just happy. Like, Deja ended up playing a really good game for us. He made some really good saves for us in the end, especially in the second half, where I think Manchester United, were completely dominated, but dominated again without any type of venom from Newcastle. Really. But yeah, I'm just glad. Not only Dallo gets a yellow card in the ninth minute, and you have one of the most dangerous one-on-one players on your side in Maxim. They never really looked for him to try, or they never gave him space to
Mm-hmm.
allow him to play one-on-one with Dallo.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I'm thankful that he just does too much at times, man.
Yeah,
Like he just
that's
he
what. Yeah,
just he just does too much. Like I think there were chances there for Newcastle to actually expose Manchester United, but he just does too much, man. Like there's just sometimes simple is best. And a guy that has so much pace as he does and so much technical ability, like dude, like sometimes simple is best, man. And he really wasted a few opportunities there for his team.
I don't have those stats, but it showed that like 40% of the action were in the right side, where Almiron and
Trippier.
a Trippier, and
Yeah,
30% on the left side and 20% in the middle, because you guys did such a great job matching everyone in the midfield and made it a little bit difficult for um guy like Guimaraes to actually thought Guimaraes was a little bit flat in the finals because he couldn't
for
really
sure.
move the ball from left to right, and it was very good defending. So 20% there in the middle, but 30% on the left. That's the Maximin's side. I feel like if I feel like if he was more like simple, like you said, it would have been a higher percentage over there because he's much more dangerous than Almiron in terms of technicality. But Almiron and Trippier did a little great two-man game at times where Trippier would overlap. He would tuck in sometimes, but sometimes you would see both of them on that line, and one of them makes the run and get the crosses. Unfortunately, those crosses never reach any target
Hmm.
to make a danger. But yeah, what's your
Yeah.
reaction about that
Well, for me overall, I think Eddie Howe got his team
tactics?
wrong. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't think tactics. I think Newcastle they came in with a game plan. And I think the game plan worked for the most part. Outside of look, because when you're looking at the first half, I mean, you just gave us the statistics on ball possession. Even though we know nowadays ball possession doesn't mean
I mean,
much,
yeah.
it doesn't mean much in football. But the reality is that Manchester United was getting a little bit manhandled a little bit like there. And if it wasn't
Mm.
for a stupid foul, for an absolutely unnecessary foul by Bruno Guimaraes, where Marcus Rashford was going nowhere, like where Marcus Rashford was going nowhere, we
Oh,
don't
yeah.
we
When
don't
I
yeah
thought he had an elbow problem at some point. Yeah.
we do not get that free kick that gives Luke Shaw the opportunity to give a great cross into Casemiro for the first goal.
What a header.
Like
Nice.
like Mark like Manchester United really had nothing into the game at that point. So it was a stupid foul by Bruno Guimaraes, gives them, gives up the free kick. We scored a goal, and for those 6 minutes there, uh we played really good football, and Marcus Rashford ended up getting a very lucky deflection for a second goal. And thankfully, Karius, who hasn't played football for a very long time, he was already diving to the floor,
Yeah.
And then, poor goalkeeping, and we get a second goal. And from that point on, Manchester United wasn't really threatened as much. We go into the second half. For me, I
I want
think
to go to the
that
second half actually.
yeah,
Without yeah.
yeah. I mean, we'll go to it, but for me, I think Eddie Howe should have started with Isak. I think Isak should have started, and I don't understand the utility of playing Isak
Isak and Wilson.
and Wilson together. I just don't. Like
Yeah,
I
I had a
really
question about that also.
yeah, I just don't. But yeah, go ahead, man. What did you want? What did you want to talk about for the second half?
Yeah, okay. First, Bisaka versus Dalo. Actually, I had a couple notes for this one. 9 tackles versus 2 tackles for Bisaka. Bisaka had 9 tackles. Dalo had 2 tackles. Dribble passed on, 0 for Bisaka, 2 for Dalo. And 2 clearance for each. So that's what you were referring to, like when for Ten Hag, like maybe he had an idea with Dalo attacking some spaces that when Anthony goes down the flank. But I think in the second half probably like, okay, it's best if we put Bisaka, and then it showed with 9 tackles. But talk to me about the tactic when Weghorst leaves and Sabitzer comes in, and what's the Scottish player again? McTominay.
Scott McTominay.
What's the tactic? What's the shape there now in the second half for Man United? For Newcastle, it kind of went from a 3. It kind of went to 3-2-4-1 for them.
Yeah, when that happens, Anthony is on the right hand side. Marcus Rashford goes to the middle. Bruno Fernandes goes and drifts out wide, and then we clog the midfield. Horse and Dalo came off. When Sabitzer came on, who came off? Was it Fred?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fred came off.
I actually kind of
so
lost you for a few seconds. I don't know if you even noticed that.
no, I didn't notice. I
That's
was like,
good.
I was in my train of thought.
But yeah, but I think it's for Fred. Yeah.
Yeah, so Sabitzer and Sabitzer and Casemiro plays a little bit like as the holding midfielders, with Scott McTominay playing more centrally in a more forward position where he has less defensive responsibilities a little bit, and Bruno Fernandes drifted out wide to the left. Which personally I didn't really like, because one of the most dangerous possessions of the game was when Bruno actually went out wide and Trippier was like, okay, I'm going to attack now. Like, I'm going to attack. And they got this great ball in behind the defense with Trippier. Was called offside, but I feel like if that opportunity led to a goal in that moment, because when he crossed it initially, it got blocked and they had to replay the possession, that's when the referee put up the offside flag. I feel like if that opportunity led to a goal, I don't think the offside would have been called back. I think he was online, and I don't think he was offside. So, and that was one of the most dangerous possessions that they had in the game. But that is the idea for Manchester United in that situation. I mean, we're still leading 2-0 at that point. It's really just like, let's play a more defensive approach and try to see what we can get on the counterattack with Bruno, Rashford, and Anthony. And we eventually got opportunities on the counterattack, but Manchester United, unfortunately, yesterday, they were not sharp. The passing wasn't sharp, and the finishing wasn't sharp. Like, thankfully, we got 2 goals, but we could have gotten more. We could have gotten more. We could have gotten more out of that game, especially in the last 10 minutes or so. The game could have easily ended 4-0 with how much pressure Newcastle was actually trying to apply to Manchester United. But yeah, I mean, we still got the win in the end there.
All right. Before we go to the next topic for the Clippers, I just wanted to get your reaction. You said about Isak coming in, and you didn't see why they played him with Wilson. They did also mention that Isak did not receive a lot of great balls in between the lines. But what's what was your reaction? Why did you think that it wouldn't work for both of them? Why it did not work for both of them?
Well, I mean, it's just that you kind of see how the first half was progressing, right? Wilson got nothing
Yeah.
whatsoever. So now you want to come in with two strikers now, and like, what is the point at that point? Like, who's servicing them? My thought, bro, it's like, dude, if you want to add, if you want to come in with what's the kid's name? Is it Wilson?
Which one?
Uh, the for Newcastle, the other midfielder. That
Murphy?
No, 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 not Jacob Murphy. Well, who he
Willock?
ended up. Yeah, Willock,
Yeah.
not Wilson. Willock.
Hmm.
If you want to bring Willock on, then bring Willock on. Take off Wilson. Play Isak a little bit. Isak 6'4", could play with his back to goal. Could play with the ball at his feet. And we saw he still created a decent opportunity there in the game, but I just didn't like. Why would you put in two strikers when your midfielders were not servicing them whatsoever in the first half? So now you have two guys on the field that's really not doing much. And it wasn't until Willock and Jacob Murphy came into the game that's when you started seeing a little bit more venom
In the midfield.
In what Newcastle wanted to do.
Mhm.
So I just personally, I mean, it's a learning experience for Eddie Howe. This is his first finals. This is a club that's on the
Gonna come
resurgence,
up.
yeah, on the come up as well, just like Manchester United. That's why it was such a good finals in my opinion, because those are two clubs that have been so bad for so many years now. Newcastle almost relegated last year. Eddie Howe comes in, saves them from relegation. They get new ownership, new funding, new money. There's new life into the club, and just the same thing for Manchester United as well. Like, we're talking about new owners. They're talking about maybe either blowing up Old Trafford or actually doing renovations to Old Trafford, because it's such an old stadium as well. So, there's so many storylines that went into this finals that I really enjoyed. And yeah, man. So it's a learning experience for Eddie Howe. Ten Hag has played well, not has played, but he's coached in big games. So I think his team was probably better prepared. And not to say that Newcastle weren't prepared, because I think they still played a really good game. There's nothing for them to be ashamed of. It's just the fact that a few minutes of boneheaded plays really done them in. And, you can't have those things when you go into finals. Bruno Guimaraes is probably going to be very upset at himself because that was a stupid, stupid foul. Nick Pope is probably very upset at himself for getting a red card for a stupid, stupid thing that he did versus what was it, Manchester City or Tottenham? I don't even remember. Or Liverpool. Um, so yeah, man. I'm very, very happy. I wish the game could have been a little bit more exciting, but I don't think the tactics really called for it. Uh, and yeah, man, props to Eddie Howe and what he's doing at Newcastle. But I think he could have done a little bit better by maybe changing who he had on the team. And Trippier, to be fair, man, Trippier should have probably ventured a little bit more forward.
All right. So for Manchester United, that's six Carabao Cup. Um, Liverpool still on the lead with 9, City with 8, and Manchester United 6, and Aston Villa with 5. All right. So we're gonna move to the next topics. It's gonna be the Clippers,
Mm-hmm.
LA Clippers, and
I just want to preface this. I'm going to be speaking out of passion about
mhm.
this for the Clippers. Richie could bring up the stats and numbers, whatever he wants. This is just Mike speaking
Oh
out of
yeah, I
passion.
don't have much. I
So
don't have much.
if the listeners want to crucify me afterwards, I'm all here for it. Hit me up on Twitter. Tell me how I'm wrong. Let's see. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, or comment on the YouTube page.
What do you have to say about it?
I mean,
I'm taking a sip first.
yeah, so Russell Westbrook signs with the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, to be fair, Richie and I were on polar opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to that signing for the Clippers. But I gotta say, I didn't really analyze the whole the whole roster ahead of time before I went on my
The rent.
passionate rant
Yeah.
about Westbrook being a terrible signing for the Clippers. I still stand by that take, but I just don't think it's as bad. I think they could still mitigate Russell Westbrook's flaws because I forgot about the acquisition of Eric Gordon and Bones Highland.
Hmm.
So the reality is that the Clippers have been one of the deepest teams in the league for the past maybe 3 or 4 years now, and that's one of the reasons why we're so disappointed in them
Yeah.
every single time, every single playoff season when they just don't do anything because they're so deep. They're such a deep team. Um, but yeah, when it comes to playoff time, they just don't get anything done. Unfortunately, for me, you lose John Wall. You don't lose much there. But Reggie Jackson, I thought could really be serviceable, and you move Russell Westbrook into the starting lineup. Excuse me, into the starting lineup instead of him. Where you have PG, you have Kawhi, you have Zubac, and you have who's their other starter?
Morris.
Is it is it Morris? Is Morris a starter for them? Yeah, probably.
I'm
Or
gonna check for you.
or is it Terrence Mann? I don't know. But
Yeah, Marcus Morris Jr.
okay, yeah. So I mean, you have the shooting there. But my thought was Reggie Jackson is a much better shooter than what Russell Westbrook is. And to be fair, for the first 2 games that he's played with the Clippers, I think he is shooting. I think 50%. He's shooting pretty efficiently. Um, I think he's averaging 17 points around that for them so far, but it's still 2 losses, and they're coming off a game versus the Sacramento Kings as well, where the game was like an all-star game basically, where
Yeah, like a
170 points were scored. So that says a lot about how much defense these guys are probably playing. Um, but with Reggie Jackson, I saw space there. I saw shooting. Um, PG could play a little bit off ball. That's fine. But Kawhi is a guy that I think that needs the ball in his hands. Mostly, sometimes PG as well. So you get players when you build those superstar teams. You try to get players that allows your best players to actually play one on one with more space, so that there's less double teams, there's less triple teams if you have a dominant big man like Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic that they could double or triple in the low post. But triple teams don't really happen often anymore or ever, if that is. But you try to get conventional thinking is you try to get the players that fits around them that don't let teams double team you. You cannot double team my best player, and my best player is going to go one on one and get any type of basket that he wants. My thinking is Russell Westbrook doesn't allow that. Because the shooting is just bad. And he's improved this year, yes. He's been better, but I can't just forget the past, man. I just
Mhm.
can't forget the abysmal.
Scientific.
I can't forget the past. I can't forget the abysmal season that he had last year, where he was so bad that everybody thought that he was playing bad on purpose to be traded. That's how bad he was. Um, so I just don't like the fit for the Clippers come playoff time. I don't know if he's gonna be in crunch time a lot, but the thing is with them, they have Kawhi, they have PG, and overall they have Ty Lue as well. So I think Ty Lue is a really good coach. The Clippers are probably a cursed franchise. So we'll see what happens with them if, come playoff time, what's going to really happen with them. But even when we ask the question in the group chat, what does Russell Westbrook
Bring to them.
bring to the
I can
Clippers?
tell you right now.
Okay, let's go. Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
Honestly, it's to me. I think when we're gonna agree is when we get to the playoff time. I was gonna ask you a question actually when we get to the playoff. But what does he bring to the table? Tyronn Lue said he wants a point guard. I mean, he wants a rotation player, and then he wants a point guard position. Everyone was like, okay, like, is that really what you need right now? But he said he knows exactly why. So they want energy, they want experience, and they want a little bit of intensity. But one thing also they're looking for is bucket and transitions. and fast-paced buckets. Russell Westbrook healthy can still give that to you. That's not something that John Wall was giving to them, even though John Wall didn't play as much. They said they play a total of 8 games with PG and Kawhi. I know it's not a lot. It's not a big sample, so it's not really fair. But John Wall was not really 100%, so he was not able to give them that in a nightly basis. Like this is what they were lacking. Like exactly this. And then when Westbrook comes in, I didn't think Westbrook was gonna start, but they started right away. If that's what they're looking mostly right now, I think he solves that problem. He's the most person that can fit whatever you're asking him. And what it reminds me a little bit, it reminds me of Russell Westbrook in the Wizards. That's what he was doing. And it worked out perfectly for him. That's what I was gonna answer exactly for this. But yes, there is gonna be moments. Last season, yes, he had a very bad season, but I don't think honestly, I think it's not 100% on him. I feel like the squad was not well built for what he was able to give them. Because he's not gonna be able to give you everything. Because he's right now he's shooting 29% from threes. We know he's not gonna give you threes, but with the Clippers, he doesn't need to. Like you just said, they got Gordon, they got Powell, PJ can still hit PJ can hit the three, so they got guys that can space the floor for him when he does whatever he want. He could get to the paint, or he can kick it back to one of these guys. That's probably more players that fits that profile that he had in the Lakers. He didn't have many shooters in the Lakers, so it was kind of hard for him, and you were seeing a lot of bad possession down the perimeter. So is it the Lakers' fault that the squad was constructed like this? Yes. But could have Westbrook done a little bit better? Yeah, he could have done better. I'm not saying he had a good season. Yeah, he still had a bad season, but I feel like what Westbrook can give you at that moment, and with a squad like that, you shoot yourself in the leg like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that thing in the Clippers is very different. They know exactly what they want, and they already have their squad. The squad it's already done. They just be like, okay, we need a point guard that can do this for us, so we can. I think the Clippers are probably 21st in transition points. I think by the end of the season they're gonna jump a little bit higher, and that's a problem they solve. That can win them games. We don't know, yes or no, but possibly can win some games. That's what they can do for you.
Yeah, man, transition baskets always help.
Helps. It can give you some W's, but I kind of agree with you 100%. We have to judge the Clippers when they get to the playoffs, which somehow they never been able to make some noise. But I wanted to ask you something. Now, this is where I kind of agree for you. Playoff basketball. You're a basketball player. What does that mean when playoff basketball, you play a little bit half court, the game slows down a little bit? How do you see this? And does that gonna benefit or shoot Westbrook in the leg?
I mean, the thing is that like the landscape of basketball has changed. I think yes, there are most teams that are going to be playing more half court sets, obviously, to slow the game down. But I mean, we've seen like younger teams like in the past, like when it comes to Golden State in 2014, where we're kind of coming up and up when they were playing versus Denver Nuggets. These guys were just running. They were just running, and fast break points again, like you said, those things are important. Like in 2000, what was it, 2007 or 2008, the We Believe team, Golden State team, when they beat the first seed. When they beat the first seeded with Baron Davis.
They beat the Mavericks.
Yeah, when they beat the Mavericks. Like, these guys were just
running. Al Harrington in this team?
Yeah. Al Harrington, Steven Jackson. These guys were just running, man. Like they were just
Baron
running.
Davis.
And that's why they beat the Dallas Mavericks. These guys thought they were going to be playing half-court basketball, and these guys was just like, nah. Every time we get the ball off a rebound, off a made basket, we're running, bro. Like, you're not stopping us. And I felt like there are teams like, for example, the Memphis Grizzlies, who could have taken a note of that. I don't know why their coach probably didn't rip a page of that out of that book, because I don't think Memphis is a particularly good half-court team because they don't have particularly great shooting. So to play a half court game, like you have to have good shooters. You have to have great pick and roll. They have good pick and roll in Steven Adams, like one of the best screeners in the game. And they have Jaren Jackson, one of the better bigs in the game that could actually spread the floor as well. But the other guys surrounding Ja Morant, are they particularly elite shooters? I don't think so. I don't think Desmond Bane is an elite shooter. He can knock down shots for sure, but I don't think Bane is an elite shooter. I don't think the other guy, the most hated man in the NBA right now,
Dylan Brooks, my friend.
I don't think he's a particularly great shooter. Great shooter as well. But Ja Morant is a guy that plays in open space. Every time you get the ball, just run, bro. Just run. Like, you have an elite point guard that can handle the basketball. You shouldn't be afraid of turnovers. But playing fast is one of those things that leads to turnovers, and I think that's what coaches really try to mitigate when it comes to playoff time. And that's why it's like, yo, trust the time that we put into the gym, trust our sets, let's play half court basketball. But the other side of it is, after 2-3 games, everybody knows what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Like, so it becomes a mental game. It's like, yo, who can force the most mistakes? And that's why I think that teams
it can benefit for Westbrook.
Yeah, that's why I think teams should probably look at playing a little bit faster, man, when it comes to playoff times, instead of letting the game get, down and dirty and murky. Like, there are teams that really look forward to playing half-court basketball. For example, Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul can't wait to play half-court basketball. Like, dissecting teams, like, Chris Paul doesn't want to run. Chris Paul, like, but he could push the pace if he wants to.
Yeah.
But if he's in a half-court set, he can break down any defense. But other teams, like the Golden State Warriors, like Clippers right now with Russell Westbrook, and I don't know how it's gonna suit Kawhi, but if Ty Lue says it, I think playing fast would probably benefit them a little bit.
Yeah.
They have some guys on the roster that could probably use it. They got Bones Highland, they got Eric Gordon, but it's gonna probably depend on the people that he have on the court, because I don't think Zubac can particularly play fast. He's a big guy, and I don't think Kawhi particularly likes playing fast as well.
Maybe when they play small ball.
I mean, we'll see, because I think Kawhi likes to operate in the half court set so he could get his one-on-one opportunities in mid-range. But yeah, that's really what playoff basketball comes down to. It's really about mitigating turnovers, because every possession is important when it comes to the playoffs. Every single possession is important.
You're correct, sir. So, but that was my point. Because I feel like if he's able to give you this, and then he has better shooters around him, Russell Westbrook will be put in definitely in a better situation than the Lakers, and we're gonna definitely see a better Russell Westbrook. But it doesn't mean they're gonna win a playoff series, or I'm not vouching for that. I'm just saying that in Westbrook in the Clippers obviously make them better if that's what they need. Because everything else, PJ and Kawhi are going to take care of it.
He's played well so far, so hopefully he can keep it going.
Anything else you want to add on to this?
Nope. Good luck to the Clippers.
I think they played tonight. No, they played yesterday against the Denver Nuggets, but when they got to the overtime, it was not sweet.
What do you make of do you think AD was being a little bit sassy when they asked him about what does Russell Westbrook bring to the Clippers?
I don't know. What was the answer? I'm not sure what's going on out there.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not on that team, It's like
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. He could have just answered, be like, yeah, like, this is what Russell Westbrook does. You just played with him. You know what he does. Even if it's like 1 second. Rebound. I don't know. Yeah, he should have answered.
Let's just have fun, guys. Let's just have fun.
Oh, man. All right, so we're going to move to the last segment, what's up with that. And so we're gonna do a little bit differently today. We're gonna use two words from quick reaction from small topics. Mike is gonna either say duh or pff. Basically it means that nah, it's not gonna happen. So Mike, you got it?
I got it.
We good?
Yes, sir.
All right. So yeah, so we're gonna start with the first one. Marseille loses to PSG at home 3-0 after talking smack all week. Now they're down 8 points in the rank. Can Marseille still win the league?
Whatever sound effect that you want, man. Whatever sound effect that you want that says no way.
All right. Graham Potter, another loss this weekend against Tottenham. Mm-hmm. Is he out?
I'm going.
Because you know he's gonna be still there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yo,
man.
they're backing him up.
I think so. I think the Arteta
trust the process
timeline probably is giving him a little bit more time. And again, they brought in like 73 players in January, so
yeah, you gotta give him some time.
Yeah.
Lillard 71 points. Was it expected?
Duh.
Yeah, you said it. Don't let me win a championship with it. Oh.
Duh.
Game time. Yo, he's crazy, man, sometimes. Yeah, man. The watch.
Got tested twice for it, too.
Yeah, you don't need to test him. LA came back down 27. Major turnaround against the Dallas Mavericks yesterday. Did you expect that from the Lakers? Dope.
I didn't. I didn't expect that from them. I didn't. But you know, there was a crucial mistake there between Luka and Kyrie there at the end of the game. But
yeah,
I mean, Lakers have made some games tough here and there, like with comebacks. But I didn't expect they had that in them versus a good, well-coached team.
Yeah. Last one for the night. Can the Knicks grab the 5th seed in the East today? Tonight, they're playing against the Celtics without Brown. Duh or...
Duh.
Oh, all right.
Duh.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Yeah. Come on, man. Fuck Boston.
Let's go, Knicks. Knicks tape. I think without Brown, it makes it a little bit easier for us, maybe.
Yeah, man. It's Randall. It's Randall and Brunson City, bro.
What are the odds? 2-3 months ago, it was Randall out. Now it's Randall All-Star. Give him the ball, man. What can you say? Nothing.
His wife be talking trash on Twitter too.
Yeah. his son is so funny, man. Like, funny kid. All right, episode 50. That was a great one, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Really appreciate that. That was a good one.
No problem.
Yeah. Any last words?
No, man. Manchester United got a quick turnaround. Big game versus West Ham. On Wednesday, hopefully in the FA Cup. Hopefully we get another W. Keep the momentum going. And we got Real Betis next week, man. Hopefully Ten Hag could get four trophies in his first season and cement himself as a legend at Manchester United and then retire. Nah.
You got some great plans, but I think I can feel another trophy. I don't think it's gonna be the Premier League. Sorry, but maybe the FA Cup. I think FA Cup. The Europa League, I think you can get a deep run. There's some good games, some good teams out there, but
for sure. Arsenal
that might be a good one.
Yeah,
Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal's in it. Arsenal's in it?
Yeah, Arsenal's there. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Arsenal's there. There's still some pretty tough clubs in there.
Let me take a quick glance out of it.
Go ahead. That's the first thing I was like.
Yeah, you're right.
I was like, damn, Arsenal's still there. I was like, damn.
Arsenal's in there. AS Roma is in there. Juventus is in there. I don't think
Yep.
Juventus is gonna be much dangerous for you. I think the major threat is probably Arsenal.
Tottenham.
Tottenham is in there.
I think, yeah. I think so. Unless they're in the Conference League.
Nah, they're in the Champions League. What am I talking about? They're playing against
Oh,
AC
yeah.
Milan.
Damn.
Damn, we missed that completely.
I'm disrespecting these
Yeah,
guys.
man. Like, yo, chill. Sevilla is always very good in the Europa leagues, but they don't have Unai, so maybe they don't have that power. But yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be. Maybe that's your third trophy, but your second trophy, if I'm seeing any trophies, is the FA Cup.
I'm just speaking as a fan, thinking that we're gonna win every game when it's not possible. Like we're eventually gonna lose. That's just that's just the nature of the game. So I mean, we saw Barcelona lost.
You got your lucky charm too, so go with it. Casemiro right now is your lucky charm, so maybe you win more championships.
For sure. Yeah, man. What a turnaround for the club, man. And yeah, man, Rich, I look very forward to doing this. You know, every time we're able to pod, man.
All right. 50, episode 50. Peace.